her plan was to travel, to explore, to live. But her reality, it turned into a complete nightmare. Is she hiding from someone? Or maybe, is she waiting for someone? Over 80 documented deaths have happened inside the walls of the Cecil since it first opened. We're diving into a mystery that has seriously haunted the internet for years. It's the vanishing of Elisa Lam. In this case, well, it starts with one of the most chilling videos you'll ever see and ends with a discovery so bizarre, it just seems to defy all logic. It's one of those stories where every single clue you find only makes things weirder. So how does someone just disappear into thin air? We're gonna walk through this story step by step. It's a story that kicks off with a viral video and ends somewhere so deeply disturbing, it still keeps investigators and, internet's loose, up at night. Okay, so it all begins right here with this footage. This is the last time anyone ever saw Elisa Lam alive. The LAPD put this 4-minute security video out hoping for some leads. What they got instead was a global obsession. Let's really break down what we're seeing. So the clip starts with Elisa walking into the elevator. She leans forward and presses a whole bunch of buttons, like she's trying to get to several floors. But then the first weird thing happens. The doors don't close. They just stay open. A few seconds later, she very cautiously inches to the edge of the elevator and peeks out into the hall. She looks one way, then the other. You have to wonder, right? Is she hiding from someone? Or maybe, is she waiting for someone? Then she kind of scurries back into the corner, where the camera can't really see her, like she's trying to hide. But then, just as fast, she steps right back out into the hallway. All this time, those elevator doors are still wide open. And this is where her behavior gets really, really strange. She starts making these odd gestures with her hands. They're very fluid, almost unnatural. Her fingers are twisting and splaying, almost like she's having a conversation, but there's nobody there. Finally, it looks like she just gives up. She walks away to the left and she's gone from the camera's view. And only then, after she's totally gone, do the elevator doors finally lurch closed. But then they open again, and close, and open. The whole thing seems broken. And then the video just ends. I mean, what on earth was happening out there? This video is the absolute central, haunting piece of this entire puzzle. Was she playing some kind of game? Was she having a psychotic episode? Or was she talking to someone just out of frame? This footage gave the entire world a mystery with no easy answers. So, to even have a shot at understanding what happened here, we've got to know who we're talking about. Who was this young woman in the elevator? Well, Elisa was a 21-year-old student from Vancouver, Canada. She was on this big solo adventure she called her West Coast tour. She actually documented it on a public blog, sharing her excitement, but also talking really openly about her personal struggles with bipolar disorder. What's key here is that she was in constant touch with her family, like every single day. So when those calls suddenly stopped, her parents knew immediately that something was terribly wrong. Reading her own words from her blog right before the trip, it's just heartbreaking. They're filled with so much hope and excitement, which makes what happened next feel that much more tragic. So her plan was to travel, to explore, to live. But her reality, it turned into a complete nightmare. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, probably just to save a little money, without knowing its dark reputation. And on January 31st, the day she was supposed to check out, that daily call home to her parents, it never came. She had just vanished. Now, to really get this story, you have to understand the setting. The Cecil Hotel isn't just some building. It's a place with a long, gruesome history, a real vortex for tragedy right in downtown LA. I mean, this timeline is just chilling. From suicides to unsolved murders, the Cecil was also a temporary home for not one, but two of America's most infamous serial killers. The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, would apparently just toss his bloody clothes in the hotel's dumpster. The place is just steeped in violence and death. Over 80, and that's a conservative estimate, over 80 documented deaths have happened inside the walls of the Cecil since it first opened. So Elisa Lam was, without knowing it, walking into a place with a very, very dark past.
For 19 days after she went missing, the police searched, her family begged for information, and the internet started buzzing. But inside the Cecil Hotel, a horrifying secret was just waiting to be discovered.
The way she was found is the stuff of actual nightmares. Guests started complaining about the water pressure being low, or that the water itself looked dark and tasted weirdly sweet. So on February 19th, a hotel worker went up to the roof to check the big water tanks. He opened the hatch on one of them, and he found Elisa's body floating inside, naked. For almost 3 weeks, the hotel's water had been coming from that tank. Finding her body should have provided some answers, right? Well, instead, it just opened up a whole new set of impossible questions. But the authorities, they moved pretty quickly to land on an official cause of death. So the coroner's office comes out with its official ruling, accidental drowning. They said her bipolar disorder was a significant contributing factor, basically painting this picture of a young woman who, in the middle of a manic episode, somehow caused her own tragic death. And for them, that was it. Case closed. For just about everyone else, though, especially the hordes of internet investigators, this explanation didn't just feel unlikely. It felt physically impossible. When you really start to look at the cold, hard facts, that official story completely falls apart. Yeah, the official story has some major holes. Like, how did she get onto a locked roof with an alarm system without anyone noticing? How did she manage to climb a 10-foot-tall water tank that had no ladder? And here's the biggest one. How on earth could a person her size lift that incredibly heavy metal lid, get inside, and then somehow pull it closed on top of herself from within? The physics of it just don't make any sense. So, with the official story looking so shaky, people started filling that vacuum with their own theories. And they range from pretty plausible criminal explanations to stuff that borders on the paranormal. Okay, so the most straightforward theory is murder. Simple as that. Someone else was involved. They either forced her onto the roof or killed her somewhere else and put her body in the tank to hide it. This theory easily explains how she got past all those physical barriers. The problem? Police said they found no evidence of foul play and never named a single suspect. Now, this next theory does support the coroner's findings. Her family confirmed she was on several medications for her bipolar disorder, and toxicology reports suggested she might have been under-medicated. A severe psychotic break could absolutely explain her bizarre behavior in that elevator video. But again, it just doesn't explain how she physically got into that sealed tank. And, of course, given where this all took place, it's no surprise that supernatural theories popped up. Some people believe that the hotel's dark energy or some kind of malevolent entity had something to do with it. And look, while you can't prove it, this theory really speaks to that profound sense of unease, the feeling that something deeply irrational happened here. And if all that wasn't weird enough, you have these unsettling coincidences. At the same time she vanished, there was a tuberculosis outbreak nearby, and the name of the test kit they were using was the Lam ELISA test. Seriously. And the plot of the 2005 horror movie Dark Water is almost identical to this case. It's these kinds of eerie details that have helped make this case a cornerstone of modern internet lore. You know, despite all the global attention and the massive, glaring holes in the official story, the LAPD still considers this case solved. The official files are sealed from the public, which just leaves all of these key questions unanswered and fuels even more speculation. There's this quote from an internet forum that just sums it up perfectly. It feels like every fact you learn contradicts another one. Every answer just leads to 5 more questions. We are left staring into the exact same void that investigators were back in 2013. So, at the end of the day, we're left with no satisfying answer. Was it a tragic accident brought on by a mental health crisis? Was it a cold, calculated murder? Or was it something else entirely? The devastating reality is that the truth of what happened to Elisa Lam in her final hours at the Cecil Hotel might have been sealed in that water tank right along with her. It's a permanent and deeply, deeply disturbing mystery.